Alright, hello all you crazy people out there, my name is Dragonite, and welcome back to Harvest December. So in the last part, we had a little discussion on what to do about Marui's powers that have apparently gone missing in town. And in this part, we're going to be looking through the library by the looks of the little picture on the top screen right now. Anyway, Mizuho Toyama Adventure Squad, take your positions! Achoo! Wow, there are so many books in here. Come on, you all, don't show some enthusiasm. Marui, don't touch. It was really hard convincing Mother to let us have access to this. Achoo! Mashiro-san backed me into a corner just now, asking if I was ready to marry into Towada. Yeah, I get the feeling that we're going to be seeing a lot of that in the story. It looked like my friends had gone through a few obstacles already. Never mind, forget about that. I struck a pose, pointing at the piles of books in the warehouse. Initially, I had thought we would have to go through all 10 of the warehouses to search for the records, but the Tawadas were organized a lot. They kept all their documents and important papers in one warehouse, so all we had to do was to go through the warehouse we were in. Convenient. I slowly relaxed my Toyama Adventure Squad pose, the one I had come up with overnight, and felt my shoulders drop. Masaki-san, I didn't think there would be so many documents. Well, if you think this is hard, think again. It's going to get worse. Masaki-san stroked the spine of an old book with his finger. A clump of dust fell to the floor. Achoo! Yuki took a step back, her eyes red from allergy. I'll be in my room, she cried, and ran off without waiting for an answer. She's too clean, she has no tolerance for dust. Misaki-san opened the book. I was going to say. That doesn't sound like a compliment. It was just an observation. Yeah, he turned towards me with his book in his hand, as if to remind me what we were here for. Alright, I'll get on with it. We'll just start from here, what? I told you, it's going to get worse. I finally understood his point. I looked at the squiggles of old Japanese calligraphy on the faded yellow pages. It could be something important, but it's impossible to read. The brushstrokes reminded me of the English cursive writing we had to practice in class, except that this was vertical. Being used to the modern printed page, I wasn't familiar with this ancient style of calligraphy. 3, 2, 1. I give up! I lifted my hands in defeat. Nah, just kidding. I couldn't give up. Not really. Marui depended on us. I sighed and looked at Masaki-san. He had a frown on his face, and he was concentrating on the book he was holding. If it was hard for him, it was nearly impossible for me. I decided I wouldn't even try to decipher everything on the page, but instead, look at whatever characters I could read and piece the clues together. That is like the worst way to try to read something. I remembered someone saying that this was the perfect translation software. Saying that the perfect translation software would need years to complete. So I was wearing a frown on my face too. You could argue that like computers will never be able to perfectly translate anything, but that's a discussion for another day. It helped the kanji was made from certain pictures, each symbolic of a meaning. That was my only chance of making anything out at all. Boundary. I stopped after counting 10 characters of the same meaning. Boundary, something that divided something from the other. Shiro had described it as something that sectioned the lands. Boundaries could be everywhere, in anything. But whether you noticed it or not was a different matter entirely. What is this boundary about? I scanned the page for anything that looked connected to the word. There was something about it that caught my attention. My head was overheating. I slapped the book shut, causing the cloud of dust to puff up into the air. I sneezed the way Yuki did. Masaki-san? The warehouse was built sturdily, and its thick walls cut off the sound from the outside. It was silent. I could hear every patter Midori made as he ran around curiously. Masaki-san didn't answer. I noticed a staircase cutting across the room diagonally, leading up towards the ceiling. There was a square opening that led to what appeared to be the attic. Oh, brilliant, more dust. Masaki-san! I can hear you. I began to make my way up the stairs. Well then, why didn't you answer me? Good timing, Masaki-san said as soon as I climbed to the top. He seemed to have been waiting to show me something. Toyama, do you know where the name of Tagami town came from? It's derived from the character from Wolf, isn't it? Yes, you could say that. And why would the servants of our god have a town named after them? Because wolves are easy to remember? I was pretty sure that was the wrong answer, but I said it anyway. That's what we would think using our conventional human logic. Shiro-sama mentioned that it's actually derived from a different character, not meaning wolf, but meaning many gods. She also said Tochigami that She also said that the god that ruled often had something to do with the name of the land. Why are you trying to tell me? I walked over to him. Can you tell me the origin of the name Sakashima? I don't know. Sakashima comes from the meaning upside down. The god there has powers to turn things into the opposite of what they are. The ability to switch things from here to there. So are you going to be like creating snow in the summer? Oh, whatever. He rules the boundaries, I said automatically. Yes, he does. Misaki-san smiled, his eyes still on the pages of his book. He looked like a teacher pleased with his student. So I'm thinking like, what? You're gonna find the god's powers hanging upside down in like, I don't know, a garden fence or something like that? That's ridiculous. I shouldn't think about these things too much. Anyway, where was that? Okay, so I read that one already. It says here that the land of Sakashima was originally considered the area where it divided our world from the underworld, and occasionally it was used to reverse both sides in rituals. Turn the page. Like necromancy? Okay. Several hundred years ago, it says there used to be a sacred area in Sakashima town known as the Land of Turning. What's that? In other words, the place where you go after death. Wow, I've never seen so many paper books before. I was being overly sensitive to picking up Midori's voice, wherever he may be. Midori is the god of death? No, it's just one facet of him, that he is able to turn things. So, like, if he pokes you, you die? Sounds fun. That sounded better. I didn't want to believe this small child was something akin to the Grim Reaper. And what does that have to do with what we're trying to do? Nothing much, really. Oi! I'm under the impression that we need all the information we can get. Before you complain, can you tell me if you found anything that could help us? Nothing. Sometimes Masaki Konno could sound very cold, like he's pushing you away. I'm okay. I craned my neck over his shoulder, curious to know if the book he had was something easier to read compared to the squiggles I saw previously. There are many boundaries in our world, but often there are not something we are aware of all the time. It's something we don't usually think about. Misaki-san nodded, his eyes fixed on a page, his page is fixed on an eye. Yeah, that makes sense. Take, for example, the border between understanding something and not. It may be a very slight difference in perception, or a thought completely opposite of the correct answer. Misaki-san was talkative when it came to subjects like these. Would it connect to what we're looking for? For the first time, he lifted his face from the book. I couldn't read his expression. It would be easy for him to say yes or no. And whatever answer I got, I would have nodded in agreement. But that wouldn't have changed anything. We needed progress. Do you have any suggestions, Private Misaki? In myths, gods usually hid their powers in solid objects. You did mention that before. I was hoping that we could find something about that. Misaki-san closed his book. You're saying that we should look for a vessel of some sort, although we don't know what it is. Just go checking every container in town. I'll look at you places. At the moment, that's all we can do. I felt my lips form a pout. We now had more information about Midori's powers, but we still didn't know where to look. The good news is, if it's kept in something, there's a good chance that it's in one of the warehouses here. So that's all we've got. I sighed. Hey, don't look so down, you're the leader, remember? Misaki-san ruffled my hair. Yeah, I know. I'll do it somehow. Good luck. I studied him, and he looked genuinely kind, compassionate. The complete opposite of the cold, practical person he was minutes ago. Which was the real Masaki Konno? Again, the yin and yang symbolism things. And boundaries, for that matter. Where was I? What separated the two? Just like the talk we had before, I wanted to know where the boundaries lay. Ow! Madoi? Misaki-san reacted quickly. He immediately leapt down from the stairs, and I ran after him. A cloud of dust had erupted in the warehouse, spreading into every corner. Madoi! I held my breath and jumped down too, holding my sleeve up to my mouth as soon as I landed. Several books had fallen from the impact. I tried not to trip. Nene-sama? Stay where you are! I ran towards the sound of his voice. The light coming from the high window reflected on the dust, clouding my vision. I almost lost Misaki-san when he ran through the shadows. He tripped. Misaki-san explained the situation flatly. I tried to look for you. Midori was on the floor, in the middle of a pile of scattered books. He must have tripped over a stack of them. Look at you, you're a mess. Didn't they just say that, like, these people are organized? Why is there just a stack of books on the floor? Anyway, I knelt down before him and swatted the large balls of dust off his hair. Why are you so happy? You came when Midori needed you. He said it as if it was a miracle. Every small child should be able to ask for help and receive it, to have somebody that they could depend on. But it was obvious that from his reaction it had never been like that for him. I imagined the loneliness, the insecurity he must have felt during his long solitude. Anger boiled inside me. I wanted to shout at his parents for leaving him alone. I gave a nod. Of course I would come when you needed me. I knew it was a promise that I probably couldn't be met every time. At the same time, I thought perhaps this was why growing up was so hard, because being an adult meant you had to take responsibilities and try, even when you knew it was nearly impossible. That is a long paragraph. It's actually not a long paragraph. Come on, stand up. I slid my hands under his armpits to pull him up. Ow! As he stood up, he wobbled and fell down again. Are you hurt? Madoe feels a bit woozy. He did look a little off balance. Maybe he was dizzy from the impact. Let's stop here for today and go home. I started picking up the fallen books on the floor. It's almost sunset. He was right. The light outside the windows had gone dim. Didn't find out much today, I muttered to myself as I continued to clean up. I didn't feel as if I had established anything at all. The only success we had was Masaki-san finding that little passage about Madoe's powers. Tomorrow we could start looking through the warehouses, one by one. Urgh! I let out another sigh of frustration. Something tore, huh? I stacked the last book on the pile I was making. That! Just as Madoe had surmised, Masaki-san was holding a ripped piece of paper in his hands. What? It looks like a picture. Toyama! Oh no. Misaki-sama, Nene-sama, are you alright? It looks really expensive. I'm sure it is pretty expensive. The torn edge of the tapestry he had in his hands floated gently in the air. Yuki did mention that there were a lot of valuables in here. Good job, guys. Did Madoe do something bad? I could hear him suck in his breath. No. I quickly denied. I could tell he was about to cry. It's alright, it's okay. Toyama. Masaki, Two-Time and Konno here will eventually marry into this family, so he will broach the subject when the timing is right, and all shall be forgiven. Miss Mizuho, please don't decide my future for me. I won't be used like that. Problem solved. Let's get out of here. Hey! I thought I heard a noise coming from here. Are you all continuing your search? Oi, Yuki, good timing. Misaki-san has just agreed to marry into Towada. Really? This calls for a celebration. Hey, will somebody listen to me? Congratulations, Masaki-sama, Madoe said innocently. Good job, guys. A few seconds later, Misaki-sama was being dragged away by Yuki and Mishiro-sama, one on each side, and grabbing his arms like a captive alien. I wished him luck. The amount of steam rising from the hot bath was almost suffocating. Phew! A mechanical rubber ducky. What? Oh, okay, so it's like a wind-up. It was swimming in circles in the water. It's not good enough. No, it's good enough. I was scrubbing Madoe's back using a washcloth. The first time I put him in a bath, the soap didn't lather at all, which implied he hadn't taken a bath for ages. It was, frankly, disgusting. But now he seemed quite comfortable in the bathroom. Everybody's looking for Madoe's power. Yes, but we don't have a clue where it is. I sighed, breathing, my breath tickling his small white back. I was trying to look for something when I didn't have a clue what I was looking for. It was almost impossible to do. Looking for the next big thing in the Komai Comet Market. Oh, Otakon. Japanese Otakon. Seemed a lot easier than this. Alright. I assume that's... Let me try and reason through that. It's like, trying to look for the next, like, popular comic before it's popular, I guess? Like the next PewDiePie or whatever, in Let's Play terms. Anyway, you don't have to look for it, you know. Stop that! I threw a bucket of warm water over him. I threw a good more for good measure. Is Nene-sama being mean? No, sorry. There I was, begging for forgiveness in the bath. Well... I leaned forwards and pressed my forehead to his back. It was very warm. I thought I could do it. Madoe thinks you're making a lot of effort, Nene-sama. Madoe appreciates it. If I can't provide results, it's meaningless. It's all about results in the professional world. You're not wrong. What's a professional? I could tell Madoe was giggling from the way his back shook. And then we were silent. I could hear the cars passing by outside the house. I had believed we could do anything. I was so confident, and as long as we tried, we would succeed. But here we were, stuck. I felt like a failure, as if I had let too many M names, as if I had let Madoe down. I could only apologize. I'm sorry. It's okay. Madoe doesn't need you to look for it. What do you mean? I almost asked. Madoe has always searched for it alone. I could hear the water draining down the pipes. Todo-sama, Kaka-sama, and Nene-sama all left, so Madoe is used to searching alone. I didn't know what to say. I could feel him trembling. That's why you don't have to do this, Nene-sama. You don't need to apologize. Madoe, squirt. Huh? I dispensed a large amount of shampoo onto his head. Is there anything else you'd like better? Is there anywhere else you'd like a better washing, sir? I scrubbed Madoe's hair vigorously. I didn't like the way this conversation was going. It wasn't like me, Mizuho Tayama, to stay in a dark mood forever. You say you wouldn't use any soap that would sting Madoe's eyes. Bad promises are made to be broken. Take that! Wahahaha. I scrubbed him thoroughly. Phew. Several minutes later, Madoe was in the bath, sighing blissfully. He would fight me when I scrubbed him, but once he was clean, he did seem to enjoy a good soak. I found it adorable. Tut, tut. You may say you're reluctant, but your body says otherwise. Madoe has a feeling Nene-sama is trying to sound sleazy. Aren't you a bit young for that? He was right. Well, anywhere else you need me to wash. In front. He turned to me. I stiffened. Nene-sama? In front? Wherever did you learn how to make such lewd requests like that? Mizuho Nene-sama hasn't brought you up that way. Really? He's a bit young for that, Mizuho. Really? He looked at me confused. I didn't think he was acting to look innocent. The front of Madoe's head isn't rinsed properly. The front of your head? I repeated, my hands shielding my eyes. Of course, with my fingers splayed. You're the one making this bad, not me. Or the kid. Nene-sama, what did you think I meant? I'm not giving you the answer to that question. It had something to do with my dignity. I felt like a pervert now, and I was kind of embarrassed. This kid's like 5 years old. Leave him alone. God. I reached out to wash his hair. You're making a big mistake, Mizuho. Stop before you do something you regret. Oni-chan burst into the bathroom with a baseball bat in his hand. I knew this would happen someday. It doesn't matter if you're a god, you're going to seduce my pretty little sister or do something dirty. It's getting in Madoe's eyes. I was in the middle of shampooing Madoe again. Oh my god. Stop spying on us, you ass! Oof. I threw the conditioner at him. Like a human. I think that's enough for now. My name is Dragonite. That was quite an event. I hope you all enjoyed that, and I will see you all later.